New York City, the land of hopes, fashion, dreams, and most importantly, books. I found myself in the city alone for 4 whole days with no plans besides hitting a couple of bookstores. I went to 11 bookstores in this trip and I vlogged the entire thing. My first stop was McNally Jackson in Soho. This is my favorite bookstore in the entire city. They have a fantastic selection and a huge array of literary fiction books, which my home city sadly lacks in. Whenever I'm in New York, I make sure that this is my first stop. It's like a little tradition.
Hi friends! Good morning. It is our first full day in New York City, aka our first full day of book shopping today. If you guys don't know by the title, I'm in New York City today. I'm here until Wednesday and I got here yesterday, which was Saturday. And it's just a very indulgent trip. I'm just here to walk around, book shop, drink some coffee. I love New York City for a lot of things, but the main reason why I love this city so much is the amount of beautiful bookstores that are here and the amount of independent, used, just cool bookstores that I can't find back home. I'll be doing a mix of going to some of my favorites and going to some new bookstores as well. If you have a favorite bookstore and I didn't hit that bookstore in this video, let me know down below so I can hit it the next time I'm in the city. I know there's tons of places here and I'm only gonna be scratching the surface, but I have lots of fun and I'm excited to take you guys with me. Let's go book shopping.
On this day, my first stop was You and Me Books in Chinatown. This historic bookstore focuses on Asian and immigrant stories, and I was excited to give them a visit after the fire that had broken out last year. This bookstore also featured a coffee and drinks menu and a cozy reading nook in the back. Then I headed over to the East Village to visit the widely popular book club, a bookstore slash coffee shop slash bar. This is another of my favorite bookstores in New York City. It always feels so cozy in here as there's plenty of seating, and I think it's so cool to be surrounded by so many book lovers. This place needs no introduction. The Strand is historic and it's known for having 18 miles of books. I'm not going to lie, the Strand is a bit overwhelming to visit. It's always packed and I always feel like I'm in the way of someone. But I was here because the Strand is also a used bookstore and I was curious to what I would find. The next morning, I headed over to the New York City Public Library to renew my visitor card. To do so, we have to head on over to the building next door. Renewing my library card is something I always do when I'm in the city as I can access their digital collection through the Libby app. The card is only valid for about 3 months, but it's so worth it and I can read quite a lot in just 3 months. After the library, my next stop was Risoli Bookstore, which is known for being the most beautiful bookstore in the city, and it certainly is exactly that. Three Lives and Company is another of my favorites in New York City. I'm always so impressed with their selection. There's tons of literary fiction, and despite the small space, I saw a lot of books that I hadn't seen in the previous bookstores. Sadly, I can't show you much because I was asked to not film, but I had a great time browsing the shelves. On my last full day in the city, I was on my way to Queens to meet up with a bookish friend, Ale. We spent the entire day together chatting, drinking coffee, and of course, going to many bookstores. Our first stop was Book Culture in LIC. I told Ale that I wanted to go to her favorite spots in the city, and let me tell you guys, she delivered. This spot is called Leaves in Nassau, Brooklyn, and it was such a dreamy place. The entire store is covered from ceiling to floor with used books. There was a cozy and calm atmosphere, and for a lot of the time, we were the only ones in the store. A huge difference from the bustle and hustle of the city. I was so grateful to Ale for showing me her special little spot. This place was truly magical. I finally did it. I finally went to Books Are Magic. I've been to New York 3 times now, and I can't believe that I've never been. This was Alice and I last bookstore of the day, and it was so worth the visit. The last bookstore I went to was Postman Books in Chelsea. I really like this bookstore because they also have tons of stationery, stickers, pins, posters, etc. But I only left this bookstore with one more book because my suitcase was already so full. It was so bittersweet to browse the shelves on my last day of my trip, but I'm already planning my next trip into the city, so we'll see each other very soon, New York. Hello, friends! Do we like the shirt? I thought it was appropriate for this video. Welcome to the book haul. It's been 2 weeks since I've been in New York City, and I miss the city so much. But let's go right into the books because this entire TBR cart is so full of books. I literally went a little overboard and I bought 18 books in New York City and I got 2 in the mail. So technically I bought 20 books in New York City because I bought the books that got in the mail while I was in New York. So we can round it up to 20. I got the first stack of books here. I'm just gonna show you the books, maybe 1 or 2 reasons of why I'm interested in reading this particular book, and that will be it. I just want to get through these quickly. The first book is Pew by Catherine Lacey. I bought this because I love Catherine Lacey. I've read Biography of X, I've read The Answers, and I really do love her storytelling. I love her writing style. And I read the first page of this book and I'm like, yeah, I need to get this. Then I got The Dark by Samantha Hunt. This is her short story collection. Again, I bought this because I've read Samantha Hunt before. I read The Seas, and that's my ultimate favorite book in the entire world. Love that book so much, so of course I have to get this one. This is one of the books that I bought online while I was in New York because I saw this book in McNally Jackson. I really like Draft Your Pillow Over the Bones of the Dead when I read that last year, but this one kind of intimidates me. It's pretty huge, and so I got this online for like $7 total. So then I got The Wall. This has been so interesting to me and I saw it at McNally Jackson, so I had to grab it. It's about this woman who is isolated from the world by like an invisible force field of some kind, and her only companions is like a cow and a dog. Then I got Las Cosas que Perdimos en el Fuego, or Things We Lost in the Fire by Mariana Enriquez. I was this close to buying the English version of it, but then I saw the Spanish version and I was like, girl, you speak Spanish, you understand Spanish. Why are we reading this in English? So I got the Spanish version. I got Ladies of the Rashmaninoff. I don't know how to spell that. I'm sorry. I bought this because of the cover. I'm obsessed with Gingham anything lately, and I saw this and I had to. And it's the McNally Jackson edition, and I think their editions are so gorgeous. 5 Tuesdays in Winter by Lily King. You guys know that I read Writers and Lovers by Lily King sometime last year, and I've been wanting to read more Lily King, and I saw this one at the Strand for like $10. So I had to. Then I got Cursed Bunny by Bora Shung. I've been very interested in Bora Shung since her recent book got published this year. I got this at Chelsea Marketplace on my last day in New York, so kind of sentimental. This is a classic that I've been seeing everywhere. I've been hearing about this book for years and years, and I don't know, I saw it at this used bookstore and I just had to get it and find out what the hype is all about. This also sounds really cool. I kind of like low-key dystopian novels. It's dystopian, but it's not like high dystopian or high sci-fi or something like that. Milkman, I have no idea what this book's about. The synopsis sounded really good. So, The Lion Life of Adults by Elena Ferrante. You have a lifelong adoration for Elena Ferrante. The Neapolitan Quartet is like the top 10 books in my life. And I just had to get this when I saw it at Risoli bookstore. I'm pretty sure I got this at. Now we're gonna get the books on the back side of my TBR cart. Continuing on, this was also one of those books that I bought while I was in New York City online. I really wanted to get my mom a book, but it was like $15 cheaper to get it online. So I got Behind You to See. This is a Palestinian short story collection. All the stories are intertwined, which I really liked. And I have read this, I think in March or something like that. And I really enjoyed it. And I told my mom I was reading this and she was really interested in it. So I got her a copy. I also got Cursed Bread by Sophie McIntosh. This was a little bit of a cover buy, but also the tagline of a dreamy sapphic romp caught my attention. And I know the other cover is quite popular. The still life painting of like bread and like a carafe for water or something. I also have Slugged and Other Stories by Megan Milk. I have this author's other book, Margaret and the Mystery of the Missing Body, something like that. I have not read the other book by her, but it's a short story collection, and I'm very, very into short story collections. The next book I have is one that I'm very, very intimidated by because I don't know, some of this out there screams like intellectual, and I'm not in that level. But I have All My Puny Sorrows by Marian Tao. I got this at the book club in the East Village. Funny enough, last year I had seen Fight Night or something like that by Marian Tao in the same bookstore, and I was contemplating it, but my fear won and I didn't get it. So when I saw Marian Tao again at the same bookstore, I was like, okay, I have to try her out. I have to get her. And so I got this. And I think it's a story about two sisters. One's happily married and the other one is divorced and kind of suicidal, I think. Hoping I don't have any right to be scared and that I'll love her. Isabel Allende's La Casa de los Espíritus. I was on the hunt for this cover for the longest time. I had a copy saved on my eBay, but I never went ahead and bought it. And I saw this out of the blue in Books Are Magic in Brooklyn, and I had to get her. I have read Isabel Allende before. I read her a lot actually when I was like a preteen and like a young teen. I've read Paula, I've read El Amante Japonés, and I've read like 2 or 3 other books by her. My grandma really likes her, and she doesn't even read. My mom also likes her. But yeah, I'm really intrigued by this one. I know that it's a family saga. And again, I want to read more in Spanish. Another Samantha Hunt book. This is the unwritten book. I have no idea what this book's about actually. I think it's like a memoir type of book or like a nonfiction type of book. I have Brotherless Night. I saw this just one time on Instagram and I thought it sounded really good. I saved it, forgot about it, and then I saw it at Tree Lives & Co. and oh, it's set in Sri Lanka. Okay, that's cool. I don't think I've read a book by a Sri Lankan author or set in Sri Lanka. Okay, we're on the last 2 books, you guys. Then I got Sea Change. Got this at You and Me Books in Chinatown. I was in that bookstore for over an hour. I started reading it while I was in a bookstore, and it got me intrigued. Yeah, I just know this woman is going through it and she befriends an octopus. The last book in my book haul is The Paris Review. This is just an edition that I got at this bookstore I was at. It's called Molasses Books. I didn't include it in this vlog because I was there meeting someone and I didn't have that much time to browse the shelves and I didn't get that much footage, so I didn't add it on this vlog. But it was a gorgeous used bookstore with wine and coffee and beers. I was just talking there with my new friend and I picked this one up because I wanted like a little like souvenir from that bookstore. And I've always heard about Paris Review. I understand that it's like a compilation of like different like literary forms like short story collections, poems, essays, that sort of thing. And it was like for $5, so I had to get it. Also, it's green. That is all the books that I got in New York City. Kind of insane, honestly. I had to literally empty out my suitcase and put all of my clothes on my little personal bag because that's the only way all these books were gonna fit. That is it for this book haul and for this video. I honestly had so much fun running around Brooklyn and New York. I literally went to 11 bookstores in New York City in 4 days, which is insane. So glad that I bring you guys along with me to discover and explore these bookstores with me. I love you.